Alright guys, MattG here, back again today. Hope you're all enjoying your Sunday so far. I'm sure it's very early in the morning for a lot of you guys over in the States. Today, wanted to talk about the recap of day one of the Los Angeles home series. Most things went as I predicted them to in yesterday's video. Sorry the first minute of that was cut off. A mistake on my end in the rendering process, making sure that will never happen again. But regardless, most things went as I predicted. A couple of things, especially OpTic Gaming, really turned things around. We talked a few days ago now, like what's wrong with this team? What do they need to do going forward? There was a lot of thoughts on that. It seems like they may have clicked a little bit now just with this roster. Some very impressive results on yesterday's gameplay. Didn't start off so well, but did finish up very well indeed. A few other interesting things to discuss as well. Like if you guys enjoy, subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Leave your thoughts down below. First of all, thanks to Cam Allen and Horizontal for putting together these glorious score wars I'm going to be sharing here. Links down below in the description box to go follow these guys on Twitter so you can keep up with these stuff real time as the tournament is progressing. Let's crack on with it then. So first of all, challenges stuff real quick. Singularity, No Mercy, Encrypted Gaming and Team War are going to be the top 4 teams moving into Sunday. And let's hop right into the games. Is this fully on screen? That should just about do it. So Atlanta FaZe, Florida Mutineers first up. Of course, Pharaoh subbing into the team. His first series with the squad wasn't exactly a pretty one. They get 3-0, kind of smoked. First map was very, very close. FaZe didn't start out incredibly hot, but over the next couple of maps, I think Priester had an absolutely monstrous search and destroy. You see this 3.2 KD. To be fair, Abizi, I think he went 6-1 or something, so he had an even better KD in theory. Still pretty incredible. And yeah, at FaZe, starting off where they left off, no one was really expecting a different result here, given that Florida had the substitute as well. Then you had Rocker versus Seattle. Interesting series. I thought this might go the distance to a game 5. First map was incredibly close, you know, 250 to 235. Then the Search and Destroy actually goes the way of Seattle in a 6-5 fashion. Then the next 2 maps were slightly more comfortable. Big shout outs to Alex here, to be honest. Like, GodRx also had a great series, which we've kind of come to expect at this point. But Alex was monstrous over the hard points, especially. And in that domination, he had a 1.7 KD almost. So, incredibly impressive from him. He really turned up this series and probably one of the most underrated players right now. Yeah, I definitely think he slides under the radar in a team that is very, very good. But they didn't seem so good when they played against the mighty even, OpTic Gaming Los Angeles, a little bit later on in the day. Seattle Surge, of course, with Panda as their substitute. He had a pretty good series on the whole. Octane didn't have a fantastic one by any means, but he definitely made up for it in their second series of the day that we will see in just a second here. So then we have the New York Subliners versus Dallas Empire, and they have Happy in the team. And this was a very interesting map number 1, right? So they go up against Dallas, and they they don't smoke him. It was 250 to 220, but this was an impressive map number 1. But I watched this and I was like, you know, is this really sustainable across the series? Accuracy has dropped to 2 KD on, I think, maybe this was Hackney yards. Attaches, you know, 1.4, tempered at 1.25, ZooMaa breaking even, and then, you know, Happy not having the greatest, you know, map, but what does he need to do when you've got the rest of your team going off? And I was thinking, damn, like, is bringing Happy in here, has it changed up the chemistry? Has it made it so that all the other players can become stars again and, you know, beat, you know, Dallas out of the map? Even though there's some pretty good maps here from Shotzi especially, but it wasn't good enough. But it wasn't to be. They come back and win 3-1. 6-4, 170, 141, 250, 222. Close series, but Dallas get it done in the end. And a good series on the whole from Shotzi and Illy, to be honest, to close things out in the end. Happy here at a 0.7, and, you know, I don't want to talk about this yet. I'll talk about this after I talk about the series where New York Subliners got knocked out, but, you know, it just seems so obvious that Happy isn't the move here, and it just boggles the mind that that's the move they decided to make. Then we have this then, so Gorillas versus OpTic Gaming. Very interesting end to the first 4 series of matches, and the Gorillas, like, just dominated map number 1. I mean, it was 250 to 234. It wasn't domination by any means, but in terms of KD and slaying power, like, Gorillas went off here. Like, Decimate 36 and 23, Aqua went positive as well, and okay, Vivid goes pretty significantly negative, but the rest of the guys do really well. Some pretty inconsistent performances here in terms of the KD chart, but Gorillas slay out, and they beat OpTic in a really damn close fashion in the end, but still, this was impressive for their first series. Spartan Vivid not having the greatest maps, but as I say, with Happy, if they can facilitate the rest of their team going off, then that's going to be a situation. However, we see a very similar thing transpire, where these great performances from Aqua and Decimate, just as we saw with Accuracy and Attach, they can't carry them through the rest of the series, but they do in the Search and Destroy. I think this was on Arcloth Peak. OpTic Gaming go up 2-5 or 5-2 at least, and Gorillas bring it back and win. Remarkable stuff. Kenny goes 14-8, Cav only gets 2 kills, Vivid goes 13-8, and the spicy thing is, we then get this screenshot. I believe this is Sparts, you know, saying across the stage like, yo, OpTic Gaming choked, like this is not what you want to see. And of course, a young player just coming on main stage for the first time. This is fair enough. It's a fair reaction, right? But it's very funny in it's very ironic, right? Given that only an hour later, OpTic Gaming actually won the match in a 3-2 fashion and completed the reverse sweep. Won the domination. Won really the rest of the maps pretty convincingly. Slasher and Dashy and Kenny as well took over the game, and you know, TJ with 112 kills as well. So this is what we wanted to see. We talked about this. We're not expecting more than a 0.8 out of cap, but if the rest of the guys, Kenny and TJ, can perform as they did this series and as they did in the next series, we really have a team on our hands here. So they make the reverse sweep happen, which is pretty damn impressive, to be honest, from them. Yeah, show some impressive composure, to be honest, for my money. And Gorillas end up losing. This was the way I expected the series to go, but not in the fashion I did. I didn't think it was going to go go the distance, and especially in that reverse sweep fashion. So disappointing for the Gorillas. Then we have FaZe versus the Dallas Empire. Now this map number 1 again was super close, 250-241 it turns out in the end. And yeah, FaZe just about win it. This was a 3-0 in terms of the series, but it was kind of closer than that. Like the domination was really close. The search and destroy was kind of comfortable, and no one on FaZe really got going particularly apart from Simp. We had a 1.4, like 1.3 in the hardpoint, 2.2 in the search, 1.4 in the dom. Like, you can't beat this guy. But look, Dallas came pretty close. This is a 3-0, but it was less of a comfortable 3-0 for FaZe than it was when they played back in Minnesota. So yes, okay, it was a 3-0. Clearly, Dallas are the inferior team, but on another day, they could have won 1 or 2 maps here and taken it to a game 5. So still have some confidence in this Dallas team that they can perform this weekend. Whether they will get to the grand finals to rematch up against FaZe, we will have to see when we look at the bracket in just a couple of seconds here. And then we have this series, so to finish out the day for New York Subliners, because they go out of the tournament, they play the Florida Mutineers, and fair play to him. I just thought I'd highlight this map in particular, because he goes 30-18 here, which is very impressive, and really shows up big time. And a lot of people are talking about what exactly Florida should do after this event, because people are saying that, look, in the current meta, Morks just shouldn't be on an SMG. It just doesn't make sense. There's thoughts of maybe you just put Frosty on the flex, and then you put Pharaoh in more of a, you know, you switch out Pharaoh for Morks effectively and bring Pristini back into the main team when he is ready to come back in. But 250-222 was pretty close, but on the whole of the series, Mutineers take it 3-1, Subliners win a 6-5 in the search, and Happy has a 0.65 KD. It's just got to be said, right, that this was clearly not the move. I don't think anyone really thought it was the move, apart from accuracy and temp on the team. What Doug Sensor Martin said about Attach and ZooMaa being like spineless for not standing up to accuracy and temp and saying this isn't the move. Yeah, maybe there's a fair point behind that, right? And we see a couple of tweets here. So Cam Allen says, Happy holds the lowest KD in the league with a 0.68. Now, first of all, like, you know, no disrespect to Happy, right? He did what he was meant to do. If you were going to pay me $50,000 to sub into the team and drop a 0.4, I would happily do that. But, you know, the team decided they wanted to bring him in. Of course, he's not going to turn it down, right? The decision and the fault, I think, lies with the team and the decision making behind it, because you know, what's happened there? Like, how is this even a situation where Trey Zero's on the bench, but Happy's coming in the team dropping 0.7s? Like, who's surprised, right? A lot of haters in the mentions. I did what I could, tried to make the best of it. GG's. Fair enough, right? Like, I would have done the same thing. And Temp says an interesting tweet. All of the teammates that looked out for me, wished the best for me. I took for granted, man. I'm so sorry. Never been that guy to be sad on Twitter, but sheesh, I'm sad. I don't know what to say here, particularly to Temp, but look, at the end of the day, it's no secret that despite Temp being a talented player, his teams have never had success, and there's probably a reason for that. And I'm sure we'll have to talk about this in the coming week as well, because there's going to be some changes with New York Subliners. I can guarantee that right now. And then we have this series, and this is where things get very interesting. Rocker versus OpTic Gaming Los Angeles. And I thought, yeah, OG are pretty on the ropes for the first series. Minnesota looking good. I think Seattle are probably a decent team now with Panda in the team. I thought Minnesota would take this maybe 3-1. I was completely wrong. OpTic Gaming come out and crushed them. This was really impressive. And given we've seen TJ and Kenny average like a 0.8 over the first couple of events they played, now they're averaging 1.0s, and that is a deadly situation when you've got Slasher and Dashy on the team as well. And Dashy had a great series here, so Alex doesn't have a great map. Assault has a good, and this is on Azir Cave, so you kind of expect your ARs to be doing pretty well. But OpTic take it 250 to 208. You know, not exactly comfortable, but impressive from them for sure. And then map number 2 here on Ramaza, Search and Destroy, 6 to 3. Once again, comfortable. And TJ has a great map 9 and 5. And this is exactly what you want to see if you're an OpTic Gaming fan. TJ turning up. Dashy didn't even have to really do that much here. And you know, JCap held his own as well in this map for sure. And then map number 3, they win the domination as well, kind of comfortably. JCap has to do nothing, but slashes here with a 2.4 KD. Smoke Rocker off the map, really. 174 to 142. You've got to say, very, very impressive. Like, Rocker are obviously a very good team. They understand the fundamentals of the game very well. But I suppose in terms of their slaying power, they haven't really got it. And Silly, in terms of statistics, he's been really pretty poor the first couple of events. And when Alex doesn't have a great series, it's difficult to turn that around. When Alex and GodRx don't have a great series, it's difficult to turn that around for sure. But OpTic really show what they're made of here. They have some great slaying power across the board. And you've got to say, you know, big ups to Slasher, really. Is there a thing right here? So here we go, MVP 1.6. You know, Slasher World League is back, right? And this is a good sign if you're an OpTic Gaming fan, or at least you have sympathies for that team, because I think it's an exciting team to watch. Like, they have those kind of villain players that I would like to be mixing it up with the best teams in the game, especially given all the rivalries that we've had in previous seasons. So I'm glad they're coming good. Hopefully they continue to do so this weekend. But this 3-0 over Rocker was very, very impressive to me. I don't really think a team has 3-0'd Rocker in a very long time. Even Chicago, like, they could only get past them 3-1, and Atlanta FaZe, of course, had to reverse sweep them to get through at the Atlanta FaZe home series. So definitely something to keep your eyes on there. This is the overall scoreboard, then Dashy with a 1.2, Slasher with a 1.6, and TJ really the impressive piece of the puzzle to me at a 1.2, and Kenny dropping a 1.0 flat. So that's what you want to see if you're an OpTic Gaming fan. If TJ can keep performing, this team is very hard to stop, and if you are going to make a change, maybe you do target JCap and you think, like, how can we upgrade the slaying power here? Because at the end of the day, you look at Atlanta FaZe, they don't have much issue with slaying power, because yeah, all their players are stars effectively. Then you have the final series of the day, Seattle Surge versus the Los Angeles Guerrillas, and it's pretty disappointing that after you see this image of Spart saying, yeah, OpTic Gaming choked, they happen to lose 6 maps in a row, and here's the first one. Spart goes 9 in 26, like, you know, that it's pretty ugly, I won't lie, 250 to 79, but it has to be said, Octane 43 in 16. What is wrong with this man? Apathy has a 2KD as well. Like, how do you even combat that? Remarkable. The fact that it's even possible that you're getting outslayed this much is just incredible. I think this is on Azir Cave as well. But Octane with 43 kills, like, that is... I think I heard someone say this might be the first 100-point club of the year as well, which is... it's incredible. Like, how does he do this, man? 43, and then, yeah, here we go, like, MVP, 2.7 KD, 72 seconds in the hill. Like, you can't make this stuff up. And then the match concludes. Octane has 81 kills over just 3 maps. You know, 1.7 in the S&D, 1.65 in the domination as well. Just crushed them off the map. And you've got to say, fair play. Pana has a good series as well. Gorillas just get smoked. Like, at this point, you feel like you have to go back to the drawing board, right? Because yes, you've just made this change, but how is this team going to win when you're getting slayed off the map this hard? Like, that shouldn't be possible, especially by a team like Seattle, who just lost to Minnesota. But, you know, I'm sure those are discussions we can have in the coming weeks. Just to finish off then here, these are the results for the day. This is what happens tomorrow. Firstly, Minnesota, Seattle, Dallas, Florida. OGLA will then play the winner of Dallas, Florida. Atlanta will play the winner of Minnesota, Seattle. Right now, I'm almost tempted to say Seattle will get the revenge. So I'm going to say that. I'm going to say Seattle will get the revenge and play Atlanta. They'll then lose. Atlanta goes to the grand finals. I'm going to say Dallas beats, you know, Florida. But then I'm going to say OGLA beats Dallas and we get an Atlanta OG grand final. FaZe OpTic, baby. But FaZe are going to win it in the end. Those are my revised predictions. Be intrigued to hear yours in the comment section below. Like if you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new as always. Thanks for watching. I will see you next time.